Yes, sir.
September 22nd FinCom meeting. Call to order. Everyone is here. Sandy is not, and I'm not sure about Steve.
Steve is not in the participants.
Okay.
Steve texted me earlier, he said he may be a little late, but he didn't have the link to get on, so I'm not sure. He says we're gonna use the link on the top. He didn't have a participant link. So, if you see somebody pop in there, not sure how that works,
Hold on,
but
as a panelist, nope, that's me.
And do we need the
Yeah, why don't we have a
Screen.
screen?
So usually we have the TMs share stuff on the screen as we're going along. You get a lot more detail sometimes than what we have in front of us. And offer participants.
If anyone knows how to operate that, I'm all ears.
We'll skip that for now. I guess before we start, and before I forget, there's a planning board meeting
Tomorrow.
Thursday.
7:15 p.m.
Who wants to go?
Tomorrow or Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Both what?
It's,
Recodification.
yeah, it's,
The artist formerly known as recodification.
yes.
release the spring. Did we ever have a representative from the
I don't
planning board?
think
It was,
we do.
it was me last year, and I know you went a couple of times too, Zach, so.
Yeah, I just went on my own.
Yeah, we,
I'll go.
Okay, thank you. And Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
School committee meeting.
High school committee meeting to discuss, amongst other things, the middle school roof. Anybody want to go to that?
Is that a 6 o'clock start?
Yes, but superintendent thought the middle school topic would be about 6:30.
So what is the idea behind someone attending, to report back to this group or to, well, I'm already going to be there, my son's receiving an award, so I don't mind.
All right, thank you. Mark, what do we have tonight?
So tonight is a famous last words, quick and easy meeting with the low-lying fruit for town meeting warrants. So we put 1, 2, 5 items on that we have all the data for, and we have the department heads here, we have our assessors, and we have our accountant on Zoom, and ready to go. So
Okay, do we want to start with Article 1, prior year bills?
sure, so we previously discussed this briefly. Normally this is substantially lower. This year we're looking at $22,627.31. That consists of 3 items. One is $15,383 for neighborhood imagery for assessors. That was a flyover that was performed in the last fiscal year, but we didn't receive the bill until I believe it was August 19th. So we couldn't pay that in last fiscal year. We had sufficient funds, we didn't receive the bill on time. So that's what makes this year's request higher than years past. The other items are $7,142 for Verizon phone service and $101 for Republic Waste. So that's it in a nutshell. If there's any questions, I'm happy to dig into any one of those items. Again, the total is $22,627.31.
Does anybody have any questions on any of these 3 prior year bills?
Chair, I move we approve the 22,627.31
Coming from,
free cash.
do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Zach. There's no further questions, go for the vote. Brandon?
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
And I too am a yes, and Steve is still not connected. Okay. Next.
Okay, next up is GASB mandated actuarial reporting of post-employment benefits. This is our annual OPEB check-in. And this is required by the state. They're keeping a close eye on communities and our progress toward OPEB certification, or when we've satisfied that obligation. We're quite a ways away today, but Odyssey Advisors is the company that would perform the actuarial work. Last year it was $10,600, so this year, to be safe, we are requesting $11,000.
That's Article 14, is it, Mark?
Yes, sir. Article 14.
Anybody have any questions on Article 14?
Mr. Chair, just to be clear, this would also come from free cash?
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Question, or I guess for the town manager. Is this something that is required? I know it's recommended. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is last meeting, we started talking about all the, how low free cash was gonna get. And I know it's only 11,000, but I didn't know potentially if it's worth just waiting towards the end to see how we look.
It's a valid question, and I really appreciate the idea of cutting costs wherever we can. I'm informed that GASB statements 74 and 75 do require these for local governments. And the rationale is because if we don't know how much fixed liabilities we have, and that's necessary to show in the annual report when we're trying to show a complete picture. And this is a significant amount. I wouldn't want to guess how much, but at least the tens of millions. And it does change from year to year. If our interest rate increases, it can cut down the number of years substantially, and vice versa. So it's definitely worth getting a handle on both our pension and our OPEB.
Okay.
And how often do we do this?
Annually, I believe.
Every year?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
James?
Yes, the actual report is, the full one is done every 2 years. They do an update every year, but we get charged every 2 years. So this is going to be, the 11,000 will cover us for 2 years.
Okay, thank you. Zach?
And it is federally mandated, not just state. That this applies to every city and town in the U.S.
Thank you, James.
Speaking for myself, I don't recall ever funding this. Does anybody in this board ever remember funding this? So I'm not sure where the money was coming from previously. Maybe, James, you know? Because I don't remember ever having a vote on this.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Yes, we've been funding this every 2 years. There was one time that we were given 25,000, so we didn't have to fund it for about 4 years. But we've been funding this for at least 10 or 15 years.
I seem to recall the 25,000.
Yeah, the 25,000 covered us for 2 full cycles, which would have been 4 years.
Okay.
So maybe that's why SAC doesn't remember it, because maybe we haven't had to fund it in a while.
You could just say I'm old, James.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, question for James. Does it require that we go to a third-party actuarial service, or is it just something from a risk perspective that we're outsourcing it, either because of choice or because we just don't have the time or actuarial expertise?
It is required, we don't have a choice pretty much to do it internally, we don't have the resources to do it. But even if we did for a town our size, I believe any town that has a budget over $10 million has to have their outside CPA firm perform the actuarial report.
Okay,
And we are way over the 10 million.
that makes sense, thanks.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to take $11,000 out of free cash to fund OPEB.
Article 14.
I'm sorry, Article 14.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Thank you, Paul. Any further discussion?
Is it 11,000 even? Because I don't see it written here anyway.
Yes, 11,000 even. Hopefully it'll be less, but we don't want to come back for more.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go for the vote. Brandon?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Gavin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And I too am a yes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item, WPAT administrative costs. This is a request coming not from free cash, but from the, I call it the septic trust account. That's where we have a revolving account set up to assist folks that don't have the funds to repair their failed septic system. So we have sufficient funds in that account, and every year we transfer a certain amount to compensate for the administrative side of salaries in maintaining that very beneficial program. So there's, again, no budget funds. The request is $10,000 to help assist with Board of Health administrative costs.
And again, this is to assist people who can't necessarily fund their septic repair.
Right, so when it's the Title V, the septic system fails, they're required to fix it within a certain amount of time. And not everyone has, $30,000 to $40,000 cash on hand. And this is really beneficial to make sure the environment's clean and to comply with Board of Health regulations. They've allowed us to start this revolving account, and we charge a low interest. I believe it's about 3%. So there is money in there that will sustain the account moving forward indefinitely. I believe the balance is around $1 million today.
Okay,
Mr. Chair?
that was gonna be my next question. Paul?
The 10,000 comes out of the grant, though, it's not funded out of tax money, correct?
Right, no budget funds.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Brandon?
I'd like to make a motion to, to take $10,000 for Board of Health administrative costs from the grant for Article 17.
Second. Any further questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the money's being transferred to where? Free cash? From the grant?
To the Conservation Department salary line.
Okay.
From the grant.
From the grant, okay.
James?
The money is being transferred into an article within the Board of Health Department. This is gonna be a standalone article within their department.
So it's a special line item dedicated for this purpose.
questions? No. Okay, go for the vote. Brandon?
Yes?
Paul?
Yes.
Gavin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And I too am a yes. So that's unanimous.
And I'd like to invite our Board of Assessors Director to speak to our final two items. The first is the doubling statute, and the second is the senior age reduction from 70 to 65. So we're not asking for any fund transfers, just asking to place this on the warrant.
Correct, and also this is for FY '27, not for FY '26. So another year away.
So would this require a vote then? If town meeting passes it?
It will have to be voted on at town meeting, yes. And what, is anybody familiar with this at all? Okay, so what this is right now is we have the exemptions, or the senior exemptions, and we have veterans exemptions. And so what we'd like to do, so there's a new act out there called the HEROES Act for the veterans, and that would double theirs. But then, you know, in our office, we see all the seniors coming in and how much they would need it also. And there's this article, the 59.5C1/2, that would double everybody, including the veterans. So the Board of Assessors wanted to go with this option where it would be fair to everybody. So what would happen is, right now, for FY '25, the total exemptions for the seniors, the blinds, and all the veterans was $120,763. That's for all of them. And if we double that, and so what happens is the seniors right now get 1,000, and then that's on the 41D, and the 17E, they get $251. 37A, that's the blind, we only have about 5 people in that, that's 500. And the veterans right now, they get 400 if they're under 100% disabled, between 10 and 90%, and if they're 100%, they get $1,000. So what we'd like to do is double all of these, so instead of 1,000 for the veterans, it would be 2,000, 400 to 800, again, the seniors 1,000 and 2,000, the blind would be 1,000, and then we'd double the 17E to 500 and change. So right now, we get reimbursed only on the veterans and a little bit for the blind. So if we did have this doubled, we would not be reimbursed for the additional amount that we want doubled. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're just asking if we could go to town meeting and have all this doubled.
Yeah.
Paul?
So the net cost to us isn't the 400,000, it's 200,000.
So right now, the total cost for all the exemptions, because then what I did, just show you what the overlay would look like, then we have the full exemptions. Those are additional ones. We have the deferral, which people can defer their taxes until they sell their home or unfortunately pass away. Do 65 or older for that one. Then the 22D, those are veterans that have passed away from their disability. So their spouses get full exemption. They get their full taxes paid. We get reimbursed for that. We also get reimbursed for the paraplegics. We have 2 of those. We get reimbursed. So normally our total would be $285 and change. So if we doubled it with the 120, that would bring it up to the 406, if that makes sense.
So the net increase is 120 then?
Yes,
For the
altogether.
budget?
Right, altogether.
And the wording does say effective on or after July of '26. So I don't know if there's a problem with that, because we're going to start at '27, correct? That should cover it, I would think.
It would be for 27.
Mr. Chair,
Brandon?
I thought, when I had listened to prior meetings, I thought the whole point of getting this on to town meeting, to get it on for 26.
No, it's for 27. So that, one of the board members wanted to get it on right away. That's why the board voted for it so early. We had planned on doing it in the spring, but this way, they felt if we did it this way, then you would know about it ahead of time. So maybe we could start planning a year in advance to figure out where we could get the money from. Because it has to come out of the overlay, and we don't have that money in there right now. We don't have it in there for FY '26. So we'd have to find it coming from someplace else. So they thought that maybe if we did it for FY '27 now, then that would give everybody a chance to figure out where we could get that money from. That was their thinking.
Mr. Chair?
Bonnie?
Could you explain one more time what the laws that are on here that refer to, so each of the clauses, just because it's not clear, and I think at town meeting it won't be clear, so I could suggest, I don't know that you'll use this exact one, but that it's clear, that way we don't have 17 million questions.
Yeah, so we won't have it like this at town meeting. So basically, it's just, do you want me to explain the clauses you mean?
Yeah,
What
so
they
which
are?
one is 17E, 37A,
Sure.
each of those on there?
Yeah, so 17E, those people, they're not eligible for the 40, so so the senior exemptions are based on assets and income. So for the 17E, they don't have a limitation on assets, but they do on income. So they wouldn't be eligible for the 41D because they might make too much money, but they could go with the 17E, and they'll get $251. I think it's $258 this year. That's just a small amount. The blind, they're legally blind, they have to have a certificate from the state in order to be enrolled in that, and we have only 5 people.
And that's
37A.
And then the 41D is for seniors 70 or older, again, income and asset based. So I believe, off the top of my head, I think, sorry, I've been on vacation, my mind's not working. I think it's about 48,000 for a single person. I can double check on that before I can get back to you on that. I don't know off the top of my head. But their income is pretty low. That's 41D, and they get $1,000. The clause 22, that's a veterans clause. Those are for disabled veterans that have a disability between 10 and 90%. Again, we got a letter from the state on those. It tells us what their disability is and what they're eligible for.
Sure.
Same thing with the 22E. We have to have that letter. The 22 only has to give us that. They only have to give us that letter once, so we know that they're in it. The 22E has to give us the letter every year because apparently if you're 100% disabled, that can change and you can go down to like 90 or 80%. So they have to give us the letter every year so we know what their disability is, and they get $1,000.
Okay, and then what's the difference between those two clauses and 22D?
The 22D is these are surviving spouses who were in the 22E and the person passed away, so now their surviving spouse gets the full disability. They'll get the full amount of their
Thank you.
taxes, so they don't have to pay any taxes at all. But we get reimbursed by that from the state. They'll reimburse us on that.
Okay. Great, thank you. You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman?
Zach?
So the financial impact, if this was doubled, you're saying is $120,000.
Right,
But that does not include changing this from 70 to 65.
correct. That
So
would be
that's a
different.
higher number than that.
That it could be, so that's the thing, we don't know how many people would be eligible. If you change it from 70 to 65, I know we do have some, because people come in, but unfortunately they're just not old enough so they can't get it. We don't know how many people are out there that would be eligible. I'm guessing maybe 10, I'm thinking. A lot of people are still working at that age, so there might not be that many out there, but honestly, we have no idea how many people are out there.
Mr. Chair, and if you lowered the eligibility to 65, it would still be income and asset based?
Yeah, everything would still be the same, exact same thing, we just lower the age.
So for the Article 15, we'd specifically be voting to recommend the doubled exemptions. And then the Article 16 would be to recommend the lowering the age to 65.
Correct,
Okay.
yes, correct.
Mr. Chair,
Paul?
if the program's not gonna take effect until 27, why are we funding it this year?
You wouldn't be funding it this year.
It's a motion to
You don't need
recommend
to-
it.
Yeah, it's just to recommend, you don't need to fund it this year. So it would take effect July of next year,
Why in 27?
and technically it's not even until January of '27. But they felt that they wanted to get it in early.
And any financial impact would be in the spring budget?
Yeah,
Should budget it in the overlay.
Yeah, it would be budgeted in the overlay for FY '27. We'll put it in there.
But FY '27, sorry, Mr. Chair, FY '27 starts July 1st, 2026.
Correct,
Right.
yes.
Just making sure that's clear. 'cause
Yes.
You
It'd
It'd be
asked.
the springtime meeting when you funded?
Yes.
Yes, it'd be in the spring budget.
In a year.
Yeah, so we'd have to, yeah, so in the spring, we'd have to be budgeted for FY '27. That's right.
Which is not in January of 27?
So technically what happens with these exemptions, if they get them in on time, we mail them all out. If they get them in by the time we get our bills out, then they see that credit on their tax bill. So they'll see, like on their third quarter bill, say they get the $1,000, they'll see a credit of $500 on their third quarter bill and $500 on their fourth quarter bill, which is the January and the February bill and the May bill.
Oh, so it's
They'd see it on
27.
there. Right, and if it doubled, then they would see the 1,000 and 1,000. And if they don't get it in on time, it's fine, it's due April 1st, we would just put it on their account afterwards. And if they ended up paying their taxes, then they'll just get a check back, I guess. But most people get it in on time.
Mr. Chairman,
Zach?
two concerns with this. If this is so far out, why are we dealing with it now? When there's, what, 4 town meetings between this and the time this takes effect?
It's next spring.
No,
No,
It's
next
next
meeting,
spring.
spring.
It would be the springtime meeting, okay.
for FY '27.
Right, so we'd have to budget for it now, in the coming budget.
Right, in the spring.
In the spring budget, not the,
Right,
Spring 26.
coming into the next town
In
meeting, we
6
have to
months.
budget for it,
Springtime.
and then this saves us from
Okay.
doing it if it passes and if it fails, budget.
So, I don't have a problem with this. The problem I have is, where's this money coming from? What are we cutting? Obviously, if you take 120 plus whatever the other exemption is, where's the money coming from?
So
It's
that's,
like spend the money and then we'll deal with it later, which,
so
if I remember the Bill Rotundi rant of financial planning that I've heard for long before I was on this committee.
10-year plan.
What?
I think you co-wrote that, Red.
This is like saying, let's go buy a new car, we'll figure out how we're gonna pay for it later. How about we figure how to pay for it first, and then we'll have a discussion on this?
so
It
that's
just
the,
seems backwards.
so that's the elephant in the room, is that this will reduce the tax levy and the amount able to be budgeted by whatever we decide goes in the overlay, which best estimate at this point would be $120,000 to $140,000 less to budget with. I know we don't have new growth, solid numbers yet, but you're right, it would have to come from the available funds in the budget, which you have to weigh that against the benefit to the poor and needy seniors and veterans.
I get all that, and I'm not saying we should do this, I'm saying that should be discussed ahead of time. We're gonna do this, and to do this, everybody knows that's been in this committee. I mean, we're splitting hairs here, we're fighting tooth and nail in every position in the spring. And you'll be privileged to have that, Mark.
Looking forward to it.
And, as we sit here today, the spring's gonna be tough. I mean, you have teachers still without a contract today, and Mr. Gould has a privilege of negotiating every single union contract this year in town, and I'm sure nobody's gonna wanna pay that. So, I just say, I like this, but maybe we should put the cart before the horse. I don't know, just my opinion.
Do we still have a person on,
Do we have, Mr. Ray, are you there still?
Yeah, I'm right here.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, and I'd like to say a couple things too, so.
Sorry.
So when we discussed this at the Board of Assessors meeting, there was the whole point in getting this on fall town meeting was so we could get it for FY '26, not '27, hence why I just ran down here, because the Zoom's not working, and I wasn't able to speak over the Zoom. So I'm not sure why Ms. Ellis is saying now FY '27. I did catch a little glimpse of it saying we don't have the money in the budget for FY '26, which was not discussed at our Board of Assessors meeting. We said we were going to do fall town meeting and let the voters decide on whether or not we could get this through for FY '26. I'm not sure why Mrs. Ellis is now pushing FY '27. That was not her decision. So we as a board voted to get this on for '26 and in fall town meeting. The other option was to go to spring town meeting, which we would have lost a year. We weren't looking to lose a year for the seniors, for this double exemption for the seniors and the veterans. So, you know, I honestly feel, I don't know why Mrs. Ellis just took that position that we're going to go to FY '27 on her own without discussing this with the board. So, I got a big problem with that. So, let the voters vote. We've already passed this through the Board of Assessors. We've passed this through the Select Board. And it's just up to you guys to put this up to the town meeting for the voters to decide. So
I can address that. So the fiscal '26 budget was voted on back in April or May. So that number was set in stone already. So unless we're entertaining a motion to take money from free cash or another source, then it's not funded.
well, we've already discussed that with the Select Board, and we've discussed that amongst the Select Board and the Board of Assessors. And, you know, you guys found $6.5 million in free cash, and, you know, after the last failed override. And, you know, the discussion I had with the Select Board and all the members, almost all the members, you know, except for one that voted against this, but, you know, that we would find the money. And, you know, nice to meet you, Mark. But, you know, so, you know, but, you know, we discussed this with the Select Board, and we would find the money. We're looking at like $120,000 to help the disabled veterans and a very, very small percentage of the disabled seniors and, you know, folks that follow the criteria. You know, $120,000. We just spent $50,000 we just wasted on a set of roof plans for the fire department, okay, that I could have done for nothing for you guys. We waste money on, you know, the school, you know, you guys are looking at $10 million for this school roof that's worth half of that. You know, it's the waste in this town is absurd. You know, permit fees went up, you know, 5x in the last 3 years. So, you know, there's no problem, you know, bleeding the taxpayers for permit fees and all these other issues, but we can't support the veterans and the seniors for $120,000 when we got millions of dollars in free cash. Come on, fellas. You know, let's get this on the town meeting. Let's let the voters decide. And it's not up to Mrs. Ellis to push it off a year. That was not part of the plan. So.
Mr. Chair, a question for Mr. Ryan. What would you cut? $120,000 is the new position at the senior center. It's probably a couple of teachers.
Well, first off, I would have cut the $50,000 you guys just paid for a set of roof plans. I'm not sure what you're paying for the roof plans for the middle school for that $10 million bloated budget that everybody's looking for, but I can tell you what they need on that roof, and I could write it down on a napkin right now for you and save you, you know, at least 50 grand for that set of 100-page document you need for a roof consultant. I mean, you know, you want me to go through the budget? I'll find you that $120,000 in 15 minutes. You know, but that's not my job. I'm the assessor. You guys are the finance committee, so it's up to you guys to find the money. And you get $6 million in free cash. You know, the money's there. You want me to find it? Give me the books. I'll find it. I run a company with 20-plus guys. You know, and I'll find the money in 15 minutes.
I definitely appreciate your enthusiasm. It's just the overlay account needs to be approved by the Department of Revenue as part of the budget. So I'm not even sure we could open that if we wanted to.
I got a problem with that, and the taxpayers are going to have a problem with this. And it's not a good start on Mr. Gold to, you know, to take that position. So, you know.
Well, for us to move this, we'd have to know where the money's coming from. And so there's no indication where the money's coming from.
So
that's
if you'd like me to,
the
you know,
first problem.
maybe we kick this back a week, until, when's your next meeting? We kick this back a week, and then I have a chance to sit down with some of you folks and some of the select board, and we figure out where the money's coming from. Because this is not the story I got. I was told, and my board was told, this was FY '26. I didn't know it was FY '27 until 15 minutes ago when I heard it on Zoom. And that's why I run down here. This was not the plan, this was not what was discussed. Mrs. Ellis should not have taken that position
That's
without
not true.
notifying our board. Mrs. Ellis, I'm talking.
All
Excuse
the
me.
time.
She should not have taken that position without notifying the board. She works for the board. She answers to the board. She doesn't make up these things on her own.
Mr. Chairman,
Zach?
may I suggest we table this back to the select board for their recommendations? Because I think at this point, with all this, it's over our
Right.
It's over our authority of any kind.
We can't vote on this as it's written and as it's being presented.
I would say it would be very unconventional if it was to go forward in the way it's being proposed to be amended. I mean, have the lawyers take a look at it and to see if it's even legally possible.
Right. For tonight, though, I don't see it going anywhere. I'd like to see it, at least hold off until we can discuss this with the select board, and then I can get some answers from my other two board members. Maybe ask Denise why she did this, without asking. I would like this tabled for a week or two. I don't want to miss the town fall meeting. I mean, I don't want to stick it to the seniors and the veterans for another year because we can't find 120 grand.
Mr. Chairman,
Zach?
motion to table.
Oh, you beat me to it. Second.
Have a motion and a second. We're tabling Article
15 and 16.
15 and 16?
And can we can send it back to the select board for their recommendations on whatever year they want to do this in and the funding source.
Second again.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for both Articles 15 and 16 to table. Any further discussion? Yes.
The state guidance says the effect that the Department of Revenue, Division of Local Services says this exemption, Chapter 59, Section 5C.5, will apply in the fiscal year that begins the July 1st after acceptance and establishment of the exemption. So we don't have a choice. The state says it starts July 1st after we accept it.
So that would be fiscal year
27, as Ms. Ellis said.
Yes.
That's the state law.
Let me get clarification from DLS.
It's right here.
Just read it.
Send it to me.
Sure. Nope. This wasn't what was discussed. If that was the case, then, Mrs. Ellis would have brought this up to us at the last meeting.
It was brought up.
It wasn't brought up to you.
Lucas, I'm not going to get into
not
argument.
gonna talk to
I'm
you
repeating
either.
myself.
Okay.
I wasn't talking to you. I'm talking to the board. So listen, this wasn't discussed. It was under the impression that if we got it on a fall town meeting, that we could apply it to 2026. Fiscal year 2026 starts in what, July of 26, correct?
Now,
27, okay. So this is not what was discussed at our meeting. Because we were told that if we go to Springtown meeting, we would lose a year. I can confirm that with, Rick and Mike on the Board of Assessors. That's what we were told. We would lose a year if we went to Springtown meeting. That's why we were rushing to get it in the fall.
well, at this point, we have a motion, we have a second. We don't have a funding source. We can't move it forward as it's currently written. So I'd say we go for the vote. Brandon?
Voting on
Table.
tabling it until we get
Yes.
feedback from the select board.
Yes.
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Gavin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
I too am a yes. It's unanimous. So,
That's all we had this evening.
you guys
Actually,
We're gonna get the information,
when's your next meeting?
this weekly.
Excellent.
Every Monday till town meeting.
Awesome. I'll be in touch. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just for scheduling purposes, because I just feel like town meeting's coming up very quick and the warrant will need to be posted, 10 days prior to town meeting? So we have very few meetings, so I just want to make sure the select board is going to be meeting about these articles that we're then going to need to discuss in a timely manner before the warrant needs to be posted. We've had issues with this in the past, so.
There is a
Thanks for bringing it up.
generic agenda item on Thursday's agenda for town meeting articles, so I can highlight this one. Even though it's not specifically broken out, it's still reasonably related to the item posted, so I can for sure let the chair know that we prefer for them to discuss this Thursday.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would also say it's important for us to make sure that everyone that comes in this room treats everybody else in this room with respect.
If I could get Bonnie.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming on your vacation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Denny.
To
Me.
Bye, Pete.
anything else?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to end the meeting.
Do I have a motion and a second? Any further discussion? Randy?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Gavin?
Yes.
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
I too am a yes. Let's see you all next Monday.